The time is now 7 p.m. Today is Monday, July the 11th. I want to welcome everybody to the day's board meeting for the Board of Trustees for Ranch-Pass ISD. I call this meeting to order. Declare we have a quorum. Mr. Galvan will lead us in the pledges, and Mr. Director will lead us in the invocation. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your continued love for us, even though we have shortcomings of that glory. We thank you for being the center of our lives as we lean and depend on you. We ask you blessings upon our staff and our students while they are on their summer break. We pray and ask you blessings upon us now as we begin this meeting. We ask all that we ask in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. It is for his sake we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Galvan and Mr. Director. Next on the agenda is the Superintendent, public testimony, I'm sorry. Nobody signed up. Next is Superintendent's report. First thing is the summer extreme progress report. And I believe we have Mrs. Stevens and Mrs. Wood are going to present it up to us and tell us all about the great summer program.
We also have Brenda Dodson from AP for Youth that's also
okay.
partnered with us in our summer adventure.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay, so we're going to keep this short and sweet. We're going to present a little video of our summer program instead of me coming up here and giving you some big spill and me just talking. So please take a look at the video, and then if there's questions or comments, we'll address it at the end, okay?
Before camp began, our district's top teachers worked tirelessly to create lesson plans using Project Lead the Way and KidSpark curriculum. Teachers were extremely excited about the STEM projects, robotics and coding curriculum, as well as the musical they were implementing after rigorous online training.
Students were excited about the hands-on learning taking place each day. They enjoyed singing karaoke about space in reading class and collaborating when creating backdrops and art for the showcase event they'll be performing in July. Students have worked extremely hard creating and building in their math and technology classes, as well as learning through discovery in their science and engineering classes. Within our PE rotation, students completed daily exercises followed up by engaging team-building games. We invited the community to receive the full Extreme Summer Camp experience on June 28th. The first 50 kids received a Splashway water park ticket. Out on the lawn, guests enjoyed outdoor activities and games hosted by AP for Youth. We provided free hot dogs and bottled water to community members, and we had a food truck join us as well. The community explored our art room, which showcased art for our upcoming musical and allowed campers to create an alien puppet with their parents. The Save the Children Foundation donated leveled scholastic books that we were able to give away in the library, and our counselors led families while creating stress balls. The students showcased their robots they built in math and technology. Science classes helped their parents create a model to describe how our lungs work. Let's not forget the karaoke going on in our reading room, as well as engaging reading activities at each table. PE also brought families together while having them participate in fun team-building games.
Don't miss our next showcase in July when our campers perform their musical Journey into Outer Space. We want to say thank you to all of our community members, our board members, our staff, our campers, and our APISD administration for attending our first showcase. We can't wait to host our next one on July 29th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Fall Gymnasium. Miss Woods signing off.
Mrs. Stevens signing off.
See you there.
So I don't know if you catched our theme, but it's space. So you should have received a flyer at your desk or your little station. We have our next showcase is on the 28th, like the video described. we would like to invite you and any other members that you would like to bring out. Our campers have worked really hard on their production. It should be about a 45-minute musical. So please make sure that you mark your calendars and come out that night. Okay? Thank you. Any questions? Sorry.
Now, did you say it was on the 28th or
The 28th.
28th?
Sorry. It's a Thursday.
Okay.
I don't have a calendar in front of me. Sorry.
I'd like to me everybody's having a whole
The 29th is the last day of summer, so, you know, that's where my brain's going.
Well, I took the opportunity to drop by.
Yes.
I didn't see a program to start out the early, because I think you had a program starting at 5:30, but I came over after about 6 o'clock. And went
Yeah,
through and walked
the
through, and it
first
looked-
the first one that we did was just merely describing to parents what we're doing throughout the day.
Okay.
So parents got to see some of the hands-on activities that they're doing, and so we had little rotations, kind of a bingo card for them. This one is going to be primarily our our production of the musical.
Well, I thank you and thank all your staff, because again, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our kids, and we had quite a few show up
Yes.
for it too, so that's good. And hopefully we'll reap the benefits when school starts back up, because we won't get that big summer gap like you used to do during the summer. So the kids have been reading and active and thinking, and so their brain's been working all summer long. So hopefully we don't have to. It'll be a lot easier when they start back school in August, so we can just kind of pick up and hopefully instead of have to go back and redo stuff all over, we can kind of keep them active and moving forward. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Anybody have any comments? Mrs. Butler, you were there, so I saw you there. So do you have any comments on it?
Oh no, it was a wonderful display of exciting and fun learning. It wasn't just the kids being excited to be able to show and tell their parents what was going on, but siblings, and I saw parents in the gym participating in the games, and
And out on the lawn. They were out on the lawn playing games. Yes.
Yes, yes. And I don't think some people wanted it to end, but
No. Oh, no.
they wanted to keep on going that evening.
Yes. So we hope the next one will be just as much fun as this one was, and be able to sing some songs. I know they get stuck in my head, so please come out. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think this was a vision that we set to do something different, and it took a partnership, because the only way we were able to have 230 plus kids is by partnering with AP for Youth, so that we would have that care for those children that need it for the entire day. Because I think that's where we missed it a lot of times, is a lot wanted to come in the mornings, but they needed child care all day. So by having this partnership, it has really increased our enrollment, and then having our teachers and our leaders here take on this vision of creating something that's very engaging but very high level. So this is applying learning. It's not they're having a lot of fun, but they're applying learning that they've had all through the school year and what they're learning during the summer. And we know from research that when you get to that application level, you retain that. So I feel like we're going to really see a lot of benefits to this in so many ways, socially, emotionally, because they've had a lot of opportunities to have those needs met. They've had good food during the summer, and then this fun, engaging learning. And I appreciate how Ms. Dodson and her staff continued the learning with the 120 plus kids that they have in the afternoon, and they have not just providing child care, they are truly carrying on the theme. So they're continuing to do more activities and so forth that extend that learning. So these students are really the winners of this. They've had wonderful field trips, so they've gotten to go and experience some things that are amazing that they would otherwise maybe not get to experience. And so it's taken a lot of teamwork, a lot of planning, some struggles here and there, trying to figure it all out. But I just have to say that I'm so very proud of them. They've exceeded what I was hoping to see. And I think when we see the results of, and we do the beginning of year testing to see where our learning losses normally are, I think we're going to see this group of students will be excelling. I think it's not going to be just not having learning loss. I expect to see some growth in this, because they have done a great job. So thank you to all of you and to your staff that have worked tirelessly. It's a lot to give up your summer, especially after the 2 years we've had, but that shows the commitment of our staff that they're here for kids. and they're willing to give of themselves completely to make this happen. So
Yes.
thank you. Thank you all.
Like I say, and I just want to add on, I think the board, your past appreciation to all the teachers that gave up for summer, because, I taught for a while, for like, I was in the classroom for like 6 or 7 years, but, and I always look forward to summer because it gives me a time to recharge my batteries, but you guys, didn't have that time off, and so we do appreciate the time and effort. Plus, Ms. Dodson that ran this past few years, coming together with us to get a program so we can get more kids involved, so we had the opportunity for more kids in the district. So we appreciate your effort and Rand's Path for Youth effort to kind of come together with us. So we thank you both, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I asked them for a report and see they exceeded that. I just asked them to send me a little email and I would tell you what's going on. They did a video and everything, so
Does
that
anybody else
shows
have
their
anybody else have
commitment.
any comments? any comments or anything?
One thing I can see is like all of y'all back there smiling. When kids see something like that, that goes straight to the heart.
Oh, yeah, they're happy.
They'll be excited about being there.
And next is the student outcome report, which hopefully just kind of ties in because
Well,
hopefully some of the
actually, we
things.
have right before that,
Oh.
Just real quick, the first reading of the
Oh, that's
text.
right. I got too.
That's
I got
okay.
excited, so I want to go ahead.
Oh, that's
I'm sorry.
okay. That's okay.
You are correct. The first reading of a TASB initiated policy update 119, Ms. Cook.
Basically, we give you this for the first reading, so you'll have this information to look at, and then if you have any questions, some clarification, anything that's needed after you have a chance to look over it, please let me know between now and our August board meeting, and then we'll bring it back to you for final approval. This all comes through TASB that's based off of legal pieces.
Yeah, no, I kind of glanced through it. I didn't see anything big into it with all the changes going on, but when your staff has the time to review it, if there's something that really makes an impact on us, you could bring it to our attention and appreciate it. So,
I did have a question about the deletions. What was struck out in red, are those no longer required?
Yes, they're
Okay.
deleting that.
Okay.
does anybody have
Sometimes
any-
it's cleaning up the verbiage to make it more clear, dates, sometimes it's just cleanup on certain things. And this particular one, to be honest, I haven't done my review of it yet. So this is about the Records Act, just how the electronic records, some of the things that have changed. Then you'll see like the date issued, they'll change the dates, and just do cleanup for that.
And there were some things there about reporting or certifying with TEA, like under the Gifted and Talented program, and just a couple of other areas reporting to TEA. So.
Yes, that you're correct. Those are areas that there's no longer that requirement in that manner.
And it references the shack. Can you tell us what the status is of shack, of when that will resume, or?
Student Health Advisory Council?
Like, what do you mean when it will resume as far as having meetings and
Right,
so forth?
right.
We have the meeting, each year we have those meetings. I think you're supposed to have up to 4, and this year I think we only had 1 as we started off with COVID. But we'll make sure that this next year, hopefully we won't have any of those things that hinder us from having some of the gatherings and the meetings and so forth. But we'll be making sure those are all in place.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or questions on that? Those? Okay, now moving on.
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. Student outcome report, Ms. Cook.
This is basically a standing part of my superintendent's report to bring just pieces of information as we receive it. Most of it's going to be the same information with a different twist or a little different addition to it. So these are basically the preliminary scores that we had shared with you last month. And we did a comparison. We were able to now have our state and Region 2 preliminary numbers along with area districts. So this is basically a report for you to look through. Once again, these are all still preliminary, so that you can see kind of where we fall out. I think I'm not gonna go through each one of these because it's basically what we've talked about, but I think you can see when you look at, our math scores, that is the area, we set our goals. We shared with you the goals that the campuses have set, and our goals are right in line with what we're seeing. I mean, it's very evident of the areas that we can celebrate, and very obvious of the areas that we have some golden opportunities to do much better. So that's just a different look at the same information you had. And then in August, we should have it by the board meeting in August, or shortly thereafter, we'll get our final numbers, final percentages with our accountability rating. So we'll, hopefully we'll get that right at the board meeting time, so that we'll be able to discuss that. So this is just some FYI for you to, if you have any questions or anything, but it's basically the same data you've seen. You're just gonna see it a lot, probably every month in a different way.
Well, and like I say, I think some of it, like the math scores, it kind of confirms that we need a lot of work. But it looks good when you get up to high school. The Algebra 1, those scores are really good. I mean, in fact, they're kind of excellent as far as that goes. So, our teachers are to the process. By the time we get to high school, they're there.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that we just need to make sure that we get them up there earlier. So with those scores, because those scores are going to continue to go up every year higher at the high school. So we need to make sure we don't sit on our laurels at campus, and because we're doing well are good, and just kind of continue to strive to do better each year. So, but I kind of I kind of see why you on your note for now, as you said, that's where we had the most work to do.
Yeah, that's where we have the new math curriculum. We have math literacy coaches. We have our blended learning coach. We have training that will be provided. So we're going to really have strong emphasis on that area while we continue to continue to raise any levels that need to in reading and our science and social studies. And I think with our science and our math, really with all of them, as we implement these STEAM labs on our elementary campuses, I think that's going to help, because it'll go back to what we're doing currently in the summer camp, where we're doing, application and evaluation of the learning within a lab setting. So I think we're going to see that that's going to help us. So I think we've got a lot in place, and to get us to where we want to be. We just got to keep working our plan and stay focused, and pray that we just have a good year of, that's kind of boring as far as health issues are concerned.
Yeah, in the science social studies, I glanced across that. The impression I got from the scores is that the 5th grade science, we need to make sure we monitor that.
Yes.
The 8th grade, it needs, it looks like it's pretty good. So we just need to just get a little bit better in that area. And biology is good. And social studies at the 8th grade, that was kind of low to me. So we need to work on that to get that up. And
Definitely.
by the time I get up to high school again, or back up, those are kind of really excellent scores for me in the high school by the time I get up there. So, and then at reading ELA, again, it looks like the lower grades, which we knew 3 through 5 because of the COVID stuff, they're still struggling. So we need to make sure we concentrate to help them there. And then by the time we get to 6th, 7th grade, it looks like they're doing a bit better. And by the time we get to high school, they're getting back. They're really doing an excellent job at high school.
Right.
So,
So there's work to be done.
Yeah,
Like I said,
so
there's
we
bright
know,
spots, but there's
yeah,
a lot of work to be done, and we're committed to make this happen.
Yeah. But again, we appreciate the staff for all the work they've done this year to make that happen, and in that. So we do appreciate that, but we're not there yet. So we just need to, keep our nose to the grind and press forward and get better next year, and just kind of keep improving. So, but does anybody have any comments or questions on the student outcome for the scores? Okay, next is the status of classroom furniture at Charlie Marshall Elementary. Ms. Cook.
We had some funding through our Title I resources, federal funding. that when we get some of this funding, it comes, we'll get an allotment and then they'll reallocate, and so then you get a little more, and so we got a large amount here towards the end of the school year, and so we were looking at needs across the district as we are, it has to be spent by the end of the summer, so you have a very small window of time. So one of our things on our needs list is we're working on providing these good learning environments that are collaborative and have the lab spacing and class size reduction and so forth. And with us moving out of this building and expanding down the hallway, one of the great needs is classroom furniture, because these rooms don't have furniture classroom sets, and then the furniture in the other rooms is very old. Our other campuses, middle school, and of course Falk has brand new furniture. Middle school has relatively new furniture. High school probably has the best of the old furniture, but Charlie Marshall's furniture has been lacking, and then they don't have enough. So we felt these funds would be best spent to continue our progress towards creating these good learning environments. And so what we've done is worked with, this is actually Indico, the same company we worked with Falk Elementary, and we did go out and get pricing from 3 different companies. This was the best one. This is federal funding, so you don't have to do the RFP and go through all of those types of same processes, because it's a different type of funding we're using. But I did want to bring it to your attention what we were doing. I had mentioned it before. I just wanted you to be able to see it, see the cost. We got a really good deal, and we're hoping they won't be here by the time school starts, but hopefully in the middle of the first semester. And this is furniture for the entire Charlie Marshall campus that will be able to outfit it. So that's a great opportunity for this campus.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? Moving on to status of Keyberg construction remodel, Ms. Cook.
Todd has provided for us he said he would do a little updates for us like he did on our other construction projects, which I appreciate. So he gave you a few pictures. It's even come along further than this, but you see in the report, they've demolished all areas for the new work. Drywall contractors were there. They put metal stud framing for our new offices. You see some pictures of that. A drywall contractor has started doing the drywall. I think most of that is complete now. Electrician is installing conduit in the electrical boxes and areas of the drywall. Plumber has removed all the existing fixtures and made provisions for new drain lines in both restaurants. Remember, we were going to change that part out. So a lot of demo has happened there. And existing plaster wall at electrical room has been removed. That was to extend this book room that was small, to extend it out for more storage space, because there's not a lot in that wing. New doors and frames are on site, and the South Texas Building Partners are making good progress. So we do have, I believe it's this week, and Ms. Dodson can correct me, it's this week the water's turned off, right? Yes. So our camp and our any offices over there, they're being very creative and working well with our builders. In order to complete the project in the bathrooms, the water has to be turned off for several days. So they've all worked it out how they're going to make sure that the children have adequate access to facilities and water and so forth in a safe manner. So I appreciate our campers and our staff for working with them. That was kind of an unforeseen piece. We were hoping they could do it like over a weekend or something, but it didn't work out that way. So we're going to have a few days where we're kind of having to really partner together. So that's happening. So hopefully they'll get that done very quickly. But the project's coming along very nicely, and we're very excited about it. We I think they've finished painting the kind of from this remodel. We're also working on the cafeteria for the health science move, and that has all been painted. And I don't know if you remember the colors that were in there. They were very bright, different colors all over. So now it's one nice color. Looks more like a hospital setting. So we'll be working in the next couple of weeks to get things moved over and get the health science labs set up in that area. So things are coming along. Our maintenance crews, our staff, our custodial staff, everyone has worked very hard to not only do our normal cleaning and waxing of floors and painting, but added on these other things to support and help these projects. So if you would like to have a tour or walkthrough, please just let me know, and I'll be glad to take you in and let you see what's going on. Or if you just want to wait until it's done and see the finished project, that's
I'm going to see the before and after.
Well,
I know what it looked like before, so yeah.
Yeah, so
But-
yeah, you did. Most of you walked
Yeah.
that when we were just dreaming. So it's happening, and hopefully we'll stay on target. And by the end of August, we'll be complete and be looking at getting moved over.
Okay. So the officer here pretty well vacated out now, or not? Or you still a lot of
No,
people?
no one's moved because there's all the
Still waiting on the
construction's
officer
still
to get
going
finished.
on.
So you got
Yes.
one's got to finish over there before they start moving over.
No,
So
it'll be September before we move in. We'll probably, and because of the timing, if they finished, like they're saying, the end of August, that's just when we're opening up our new budget year and so forth. So it'll probably be middle of September, or if some of us are industrious enough and want to load up our stuff ourselves, we'll get it over there. But hopefully by the end of September, we'll all be in there and be out of here. But we won't make it before school starts.
so are these rooms going to be used when school
They
starts
will
for children?
use, Mr. Sagert, we've been discussing how he'll use these this year since we're not making it out before school starts. So this is where he'll do his, he's using a lot of spaces up on his other classrooms for tutors, for extended classes, for like a speech therapist and such opportunities like that. So he'll use these areas for that during that time. May move some of the offices this direction as they reconfigure. But we won't be able, the timing's not working out to be able to have it like all completely done. So it'll be, we'll make it work. It'll happen. Maybe during Christmas we'll do some shuffling around, but you don't want to ask teachers to move too many times. So we're going to try it. So any bigger moves he might want to do down this hall will happen next summer.
Yeah, I know teachers, because especially elementary school teachers, they have tons of stuff they got in that classroom to help them out, and so when you actually move classrooms, they hate that. Like,
Yeah.
so
So if he
they
needs
don't like
any-
to leave a lot. So 'cause
Right, so if he needs any extra rooms, that we already have pretty much the space, so if we have an explosion of students, which I hope we do, then we'll be able to fill those in quickly. But I think he has a good plan of how he'll phase in, phase out, and it will all come together. It just, unfortunately, when you're dealing with construction, it never works out in the time frame you hope, so.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on the Keyberg construction? Next is calendar of upcoming events. Ms. Cook?
It's hard to believe that we're sitting here basically at the middle of July, and we're getting ready to start our next school year. So you see July 18th is our online registration opens up. Here we go. July 19th, this is opening for TASB convention. Probably want to discuss that as we get into our budget workshop, because we're probably I'm limiting any travel this year. So we'll probably take that one off and discuss some things there. July 25th, we will start back. We have Fridays off right now for the summer. That's when we'll start back our regular business hours. July 28th, as was mentioned, is our Summer Extremes Showcase. We hope you'll put that on your calendars. July 29th will be our last day of the summer camp. August 1st and 2nd, we'll have one-stop registration. This is where we open up at AC Blunt, and we have everyone be able to come and register all their children at that time. We'll have outside agencies and vendors and so forth there, and do it kind of in a fair atmosphere those 2 evenings. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. The 4th will be convocation, hard to believe. Next board meeting, the 8th. First day of school is August 15th. So it's almost here. And then you kind of see as things go on in September. So trying to go ahead and let you know the dates that are coming up. While I'm on the calendar, I'll go ahead and jump into the last one on my report is the date of the budget workshop. You know, I'd sent out some information. We were wanting to have per our former conversation, have our financial advisor join us in our conversations as we were looking at facility management, now looking at budgets and some budgetary questions and so forth. So we reached out to Dusty. The only date he has now, because we've kind of, you know, haven't gotten responses, so is July 25th. So that's, in order to have our financial advisor present, that's the only day evening we have, is July 25th. So we can either do that and have him and our budget workshop, or we can have, you know, we need to have a budget workshop because I don't want you to have to pass a budget and you haven't had a workshop. So we're kind of getting down to the wire now. So I guess my question for you is, can we make a commitment to try to be there July 25th for our budget workshop? And if that doesn't work, then I'm open to what you want us to do.
That's on a Monday.
Monday evening?
Yeah, I'm available that day, so I'm good. Victor, I know you're.
All I can tell is I'll try to make it.
Yeah, and I guess worst case scenario that we'll just have the workshop and you know, and that you know, and just kind of keep you informed, or you, and I'm not sure Dell. I'm not sure if Dell's going to. You know, Dell might be able to make it too, since but we'll check with her and that. But
so 6:30, 7.
Well, if we're going to have the session with the financial advisor and the budget workshop, I would say 6 or 6:30. Not wait
Well, I
till
know
7.
for Delfino, that's definitely difficult for him. I don't know about Victor.
That'd be
6
7
is,
would be best if we can make it, but I can't commit, and I don't know what his schedule is.
yeah.
yeah. So again, you know, we can start at 6:30, and if you guys show up at 7, Victor, that's fine too. If you have to show up a little bit later, but that way we kind of lock the guy in a little bit and ask him all of our questions up front in that. So then, you know, and usually the way the budget workshop, you know, works in the past, you know, there's a lot of, you know, it takes a while to get your brain function and all those numbers. So, you know, so we probably won't be heavy into the budget discussion or whatever else by 7 o'clock. So if you want to start at 6, if you can make 6:30, that's fine. And then Delfino and Victor and Adele can show up, you know, later on after that. At least we'll have enough of 4. Yes, ma'am.
How much time do we anticipate from we're spending with the financial advisor?
Well, that just depends a lot on your questions.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll give you probably a 15, 20-minute presentation
Okay.
and then answer your questions. So I wouldn't think, unless you just have an abundance of questions, more than 45 minutes, maybe an hour with him. And that's really any workshop depends on all of you and your questions. He's going to make a 15-minute presentation,
Okay.
answer your questions. We're going to probably make a 30-minute presentation and answer your questions. So all the other time is based on your needs.
I think this particular workshop, since we're talking about our financial advice and that discussion, and also talking about the budget going into next year, I think it's real important that we have all the board members here. Initially, I was thinking starting early. I didn't realize it would be
Well, we could always have it.
presentation
You know,
because-
we had the board meeting, but again, to get the financial advisor and us for the board, and plus we have a deadline we have to submit the budget by, which is what, Cheryl?
End of August. When to submit the budget? End of August.
We have to submit it by,
We have to pass it by August the 30th. We
Yeah.
usually have those.
so, you know.
sometimes it's helpful to have those budget and financial questions together, and that we're hearing it all at the same time. Because if we start at 6 or 6:30, we potentially would be finished with a financial advisor by 7, the time that other members might join us. So my suggestion is that we just go ahead and do it at 7, in the hopes that everyone would be here to be part of that discussion, that part of that Q&A. because it's hard to come in and get caught up after the financial
Right.
advisor session is come and gone, and then now you're in the middle of talking budget. They wouldn't have they'd be at a disadvantage, I think.
So 7 PM?
Yeah, seven's fine. with me. I'm available all day. I don't have anything to do that. I don't know, David does. Maybe that. Yeah,
We know that, we hear that all the time.
I tell you that all the time. We're available anytime, day or night. So.
We don't have that
Yeah,
luxury.
yeah. We're good. We have the retired life, so we don't
All
have
right,
to.
so we'll ask the financial advisor to be here on July 25th at 7 PM.
Yeah, because
We'll
if his
let
presentation's
him-
only 15
We'll
minutes.
let him go
then-
first,
Okay.
answer your questions, and then hopefully by 8, we'll give our presentation, answer your questions. And then you'll have so the workshop is to share with you kind of the status of our current ending out this year. Then we'll go into, any issues, definitely related to COVID and so forth that we're suffering. And then we will go into, our proposal for this coming year based off of our projections and so forth, and we'll go through all that. Answer any of your questions, take any of your feedback, because you may from that point say, because we're going to give you a proposal on, based off of these projections, we feel like this is all we could do for raises or whatever. Then y'all might say, well, we want you to run this scenario or something. Then that way, that's why we need it done by the end of July, so then we have time then to go back, get the information you need, answer any questions. So when we come to the August board meeting, then we can bring that back to you for you to look at again. You won't actually do the approval of it until the special board meeting towards the end of August. So you get the budget workshop, then you have the regular meeting where we can kind of make sure we've got it fine-tuned and everybody feels good about it. We can put the final pieces to it, put the information in the paper. There's certain things we have to do.
Oh, for the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we have to meet all these deadlines then to get to the final. So that's kind of the progression. So that's why I was kind of pushing this a little, because we're kind of running out of time now, and I want to make sure you have all the time you need to feel good about the budget you'll be passing. So does that sound good?
Yes. Would it be, well, I assume it would be helpful if our bigger questions that we already kind of know we have, obviously our questions will change during the meeting and we'll probably want to dig into some things, but our bigger questions, if we submit those beforehand so that
Wonderful.
you guys could be prepared with maybe numbers we might ask about that you weren't expecting, and our
Yes.
financial advisor could be
Yes,
prepared to
please.
kind of guide his hour, because an hour goes by really fast with us. It really does. So we might miss important things if we don't, kind of pre-prepare if
That'd
anybody
be
has
great.
anything
Yeah, if you'd like to
big.
just submit them in an email to Cheryl and I, and then we'll compile them. And if they have to do with Dusty, we'll get them to him. If they're us, we'll pull that information, and that way we can really, that's great, that we can be as prepared as possible. Sometimes we're kind of guessing what we think you want to know or what we feel you need to know. And so if you can tell us, that makes it even easier. So that sounds great.
Okay.
And
So-
again, just for the public information, our budget workshop's open session, right?
Yes,
So
yes, anyone's welcome to come and enjoy the fun workshop.
talking about the money.
Worst case scenario, since we have 2 members who are not here and actually 3 who can't commit right here at this moment, if we had to, could we have a blended budget workshop if for some reason the other board members
You mean
could
like
do so
a
virtually?
Virtual,
Okay,
Okay.
that would probably be a good option.
okay.
For some reason they couldn't make it
That way, if you-
physically
if you
here.
go- If you're not able to make it, maybe you can go virtually. If you're someplace, you can do it virtually, and then ask your questions virtually as well. So you at least got the information and stuff. That may work out better for
Okay,
some of the people that have to work and
good
can't
idea.
make it. Thank you.
So we'll have it ready to go virtually also.
That's why we have a meeting, so we all come together as a brain trust and come up with decisions, right? So,
The
Absolutely.
new virtual world, we can add that in. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
okay, anybody else have any comments on the budget workshop? Okay, next is financial reports. Ms. Stansberry, to cover the accounts payable, the budget status, budget status and investments, tax collections, bond finance, and FEMA projects. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Stansberry on accounts payable? Ms. Stansberry, you have any comments on that? Anything you want to bring up? Nope. Next is budget status and investments. Any questions or comments on it? Next is tax collection. Any questions or comments? The bond finance. And last is the FEMA projects.
I don't have any questions, but I did want to tell you guys thank you for setting up those meetings with us. I think that was really, really helpful as we continue to look at this, and maybe that's why we don't have as many questions today, because we kind of just went over this individually, but I thought that was really helpful for me. So thank you for taking the time to educate us.
And we'll continue that, and pretty much everything we talked about there will be it'll be presented again at the budget workshop as a deep dive, so that if any of our members in the community want to be here and hear the spill again, we'll be glad to share that also.
Okay, next is our consent agenda. First thing on the consent agenda is consider and approve the minutes of the June 13th regular board meeting. And is anybody got any questions or corrections or comments that they want to make about the minutes? Okay, do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So move.
Motion made by Ms. Hill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Next is moving on to our action agenda. Consider and approve student code of conduct for 22-23 school year. Ms. Cook?
Each year by policy, we're to bring the student code of conduct to you for your approval before the start of school. This is not a legislative year, so therefore there's really no changes to the student code of conduct except the date and some just cleanup like that. But other than that, it's what you approved last year, except for those minor changes. This next year, though, will be after a legislative year, so I'm sure it will look very different. But we bring this to you for.
And I think the biggest change is just our dresses for the holes in the pants for the kids, especially at the high school level.
Well, that's not in the student code of conduct. That's in the handbook.
That's in the handbook?
That's in the handbook.
They'll come later again, right?
Well, the handbooks are not approved. We'll just bring those as a information item.
Okay.
You only approve the student code of conduct.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for correcting me.
No worries. No, I'm not trying to correct you. I just.
And to piggyback that, when will the handbooks be presented?
In August.
In August? Okay.
Okay, so anybody have any other questions or comments on the student code of conduct? Do I hear a motion to approve the 22-23 student code of conduct?
So move.
A motion made by Ms. Hill. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Okay, consider and approve the budget amendment. Ms. Cook?
We're bringing to you an amendment to move funds that were received from FEMA that have been in a special account during the negotiation phase. This amendment would move these funds to our general operating fund checking account.
So does anybody have any questions or comments on that? None?
This is not, this is separate from what was on the prior schedule of pending from FEMA, correct?
This amount, the 900, is we're also moving some interest. That was to make it an even $900,000 transfer.
Okay. So these funds that came in from FEMA, when did these come in?
They've been coming in over several years. We've already moved twice, 200,000 and another amount over the years since Harvey. The reason we did not move these funds previously was because we had some negotiations going with FEMA and with TDM, where there was I'm going to say audit what FEMA came up with, the state of Texas is, and they finished their audit. And during that process, they had said that they had overpaid us on one project. So we let these funds stay in the special account just in case something else came up. But all of those projects that they were questioning are done, so we feel comfortable that it's okay to go ahead and move these funds like we have the previous funds.
Okay, thank you for that
You're welcome.
clarification.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments on the budget amendment? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the budget amendment for transfer of FEMA funds to general funds?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Butler. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hill. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, consider and approve request to go out for bids for custodial services. Ms. Cook.
We've, as most school districts, having difficulty finding custodial staff. And so we were looking for different options of how we could meet this need, especially this past 2 years. You know, we were really trying to expand on our custodial staff to help with keeping things sanitized and so forth. So we were looking into the option of using a custodial service, and in our research we found that it actually, by going this route, we would basically go out for requests for proposals to have a custodial service do Falk Elementary, do all of the custodial there in the evenings. We'd have one in-house custodial staff that's on the APISD payroll. And then this custodial service would do the cleaning for Falk. The current Falk staffing, then the rest of them would be moved to fill all those open positions that we have on the other campuses, so that we would, by doing this, every campus will be fully staffed so that we can keep it clean and safe at the level we wish to do so. It would also enable us to have a staff member at Keyburger, since now we will be adding that campus that will have health science, welding, admin offices along with DAP, so that will need a staff member. So this will give us, it'll take care of all of our needs, and in our research, it's looking like with a cost savings of $20,000. So it's a win-win. So we're coming to you tonight asking for permission to go out to get some proposals, so then we can bring them back to you and we can get started on this.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, I mean, the government does this a lot, and they've been doing it for about the last 10 or 15 years, is moving to government contracts instead of, like, in the military, especially for active duty. And because in the end, you know, they save so much more money because you don't have all those pay raises coming up, you don't have all those retirements coming up, you don't have all the medical benefits you have to supply for those people as well. Mm-hmm. So all that kind of comes into your deal, so you end up saving a lot more money other than salaries and stuff like that. So there's a lot of other long-term benefits in doing something like that. But, you know, and especially since we need the custodial services and janitors at those campuses, and if we can't, you know, we can't fill them, you know, which I know we've had trouble in the past filling those things and keeping them filled with good employees.
Yes.
In that, so.
And we're also, I know the question was asked about, you know, what they'll be paying, the custodial staff will be paying their workers versus ours. And we had on tap that is one of the areas we were looking at, was our custodial staff pay rate. We already knew that was an area we need to address, so that'll be part of your budget packet, what our proposal is to stay competitive there. I don't know that, I'm going to try to find out what these services are paying their people. But we already saw that that's an area we need to look at, so that'll be part of your proposal packet, and I'll hopefully have the information too on what they're actually paying from the custodial staff, because we don't want to lose all our people over there either, so it's kind of keeping a balance for everything and being fair to our staff. Well,
and you know, especially, you know, part of it you want to look at is make sure that they're available, especially if we have something going on at the campus like the evening, instead of, you know, they may have to be, you know, they have to be capable of or willing to work around some of the stuff that may happen on those campuses if we have something like an open house or something
right.
at that campus.
Oh, yes, they do.
But during that time period, yes, that they need to work around that as well. So so we need to make sure when we negotiate a contract that that's in there, so they don't come back and dock us and give us some penalty for,
oh, no,
you know, that. So.
Yeah.
So is the requested times going to be the same schedule that our custodians currently work on the other campuses?
Well, they'll work in the evenings, so it probably will be very similar, but we haven't gotten to that level. My assumption would be when we negotiate the contract that they would work the same evening hours that our staff is working, but we haven't gotten to that level yet.
And is the request for proposal specific to the Falk campus, or is it a blanket request?
No, it will be specific to Falk.
Specific just for Falk, so this isn't something that could affect the other campuses later on, okay.
Is
Yeah,
it
'cause
possible
we got a
to,
lot of employees that got some long, lot of time with us, and we don't
Well,
want to.
you would have to transition them in, and that
Yeah.
could be very upsetting to them. That's why I'm asking if it's specific to the Falk campus.
Right, so the Falk staff, when we go through this, then everyone except one, we're looking at one, maybe two, that will stay on the Falk campus during the day. The rest will be moved to other campuses.
I'm concerned about the schedule, that it's left to negotiations instead of more of
Needs?
a need. This is a need that we have as part of our,
Well, when I say negotiation, I mean, it may be, they're gonna work in the evenings, so I don't know if they're gonna come in at 6, or they're gonna be like our staff, work from 4 to 10, or they're gonna work 6 to 8,
Or they may work,
6
they
to
may work
12.
from,
That's
they
what I'm
work from
saying.
midnight,
It's
they may
gonna
work
be
from midnight to
evenings,
6 in the
but as
morning,
far
depends on
as
whether,
exact time, I don't know the answer to that. So I'm saying I would have to, I don't know if negotiation was the right word. We haven't discussed that.
That would be written in your RFP, wouldn't it?
yeah. Yeah, the time,
I don't know that we put the time, but we could. I guess we could put that it would be the same time we can do that.
or some language there that is saying that we're aligning our staff and their staff at the same time. Because we're still gonna have one person at Falk, right?
Right.
And
But
so,
that's during the day.
oh, that's just for the day?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
They
It
will
wasn't
go-
like they were gonna be part of that.
No,
Oversight
there
or
will be, what's happening on the evenings at Falk will not really affect any other campus.
Okay.
Or any of our staff.
Okay, so that one employee, that one custodial service employee is going to be providing services during the day only?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if I need to ask this, but anyway, I'm gonna ask it. How do we protect the confidentiality of our records and our computers with people that are contract employees and aren't district employees? Do we need to look at our policy for that? Because you're gonna have confidential information in the offices where they're cleaning and have access to. Do we need to address that in your?
Well, we can't, I know this is, my former district, we contracted out all of our custodial staff. So this is not something new. This is done in many, many districts. So, I don't know the answer to that, but I can look in to see what the specific language is, but I'll have to look into how that's specified, how we ensure we could, I'm sure, write that in the contract to make sure that they're held to that level and they know the consequences of that and so forth. But once again, I don't know the answer to that question.
That's fine, I'm
either.
sure,
Yeah.
I mean, just like you said, we're not the first district to do this. There's gotta
Right.
be procedures and protocol out there. We just need
Yeah,
we need some assurance that we've dotted our i's and crossed our t's on that.
exactly. So we'll look at all of that.
And part of that's gonna be on us, that
Sure.
if we're handling, student information or health information, medical information, that,
That's all
as
supposed
an
to be
as
locked
an
up
employee, that
anyway.
I'm securing that information, that data.
yeah, they just make sure the staff locks up all the confidential information in a safe or something, so they don't have access to it and stuff like that.
That
And-
should be
yeah.
normal protocol even with our current staff.
Yeah, it was same, like say, it's about the same thing you do in a classroom. You don't leave your computer opened up to your grade book in your classroom on your
Right.
computer and stuff like that. When you leave, you're supposed to log off.
Right.
So, in that, you don't leave a lot of confidential information about the students, like the ARDs or whatever else, out in public where they can see it, so you lock it up
But
somewhere.
there's still things like, some of our, they have like a data wall where they'll put up, they don't currently, but they're planning this year to have, and they'll have names of students up on this specific room that's locked to students and parents, but they'll go in and clean that. So there's still certain things like that that are seen that we need to address. So I'll look into how we address that.
And we do have some staff that may be working in the evenings at the
Yes.
same window of time that the professional service company is coming in, so.
Yeah. Okay. Those are good points. We'll make sure we address that, whether it's through the RFP or through the actual contract, once we get to that point.
Yeah.
And of course, that will be brought back to you for approval.
Yeah, we're gonna have to prove it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the request to go out for bids for custodial services?
So move.
A motion made by Ms. Butler. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes carry.
Hey, John, just one second.
Oh.
How would that information be disseminated to staff? Because as soon as they find out that we're gonna go through, there's an RFP going out for custodial service, there may be a little alarm with them that they may not have a job with us anymore. That way we don't have misinformation out there. Will Charlie be visiting with them?
I will make sure that happens.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're not gonna terminate anybody's employment with us. We're just gonna create a hole that we have to fill because we
Oh,
can't
we
fill
don't
it.
want to blindside them.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right. Yeah, yeah, we don't want to have them question a lot of stuff going on. So if we can answer questions ahead of
We'll
time,
make sure
it'll
that's done
make things a little
tomorrow.
bit smooth in transition. Thank you, Victor. Okay, moving on. Next is a discussion topics for future meeting, and we've already covered one of them in depth for the workshop we're going to have, and also TASB sent out a deal before then that they're having a election for Region 2 representative for the Board of Directors. And we have one person that from Mathis is already there. He's already in that position. He's running again for re-election. So we have the capability, if we want to nominate somebody from our board to be that position for Region 2 and handle all of Region 2 for TASB at their meetings, which is you have to make a commitment to go to I think it's 7 or 8 meetings throughout the year up in Dallas or San Antonio. So you have to commit to that to do that. And you also have other things to do throughout the district in Region 2 that you have to attend for like the grassroots meetings and other things going on. So there's a lot of time involved in that that's there. But just some information on it. So before next board meeting, we either vote and send our vote in for the guy that already has the job from Mathis that wants to continue to do the job, or we can nominate somebody from our board, and that would be our endorsement for them. We can send it off. So there's a form letter I have to send off before it'd be after our next board meeting, right after that that is due to them. So we'll make sure that's taken care of, and we'll add that for it'd be an action item, I guess.
Is that Moses? Is it
Yeah.
Moses Afaro?
Yeah. Yeah, he's been there. He's been there for like 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. It used to be, I think, Mrs. Teresa Flores over at Ingleside was there forever, and then this guy took her place. So so he had some good education from Teresa before he took over the job. So, and he's been there for a while. So he's been working it for the last 3 or 4 years. So, but just food for thought. If anybody wants to throw their hat in the ring, we'll vote on it, and we'll send our endorsement out with their name and our votes. So, and then we'd have to, then they'd put it on for the other board members at the other boards in Region 2 to vote. So just because we vote doesn't mean that you're going to get it. You have to carry the region in the vote contest. So
this would be at our next meeting, our August
yes, ma'am.
regular meeting? Okay.
Yeah. And I think if you have any questions on it, you could always go online to TASB and look at their website, and they'll probably go to a lot more detail of what your job would be and that type of stuff on the TASB website. So, you just log in and go there, and the information's there. Just kind of, the regional representative, if you're interested in throwing your hat in the ring. But again, just you when you sign the papers, you also commit to certain, like all the meetings you got to commit to go to as well. So and most of those things are funded by TASB for the meetings you have to go to and things for your expenses and stuff. So it's not a lot of expenses incurred on the district. It's mostly through TASB. So. And anybody else have any other future topics for any other meetings?
I do. I would like for us to do, I guess, an analysis per se of our IT services. And by that, I mean just looking into our cybersecurity features, as that's a big topic right now, being hacked and ransomed and all of that good stuff. So I'd like to see where we are, just kind of what we have and what we're doing, what we have in place. Are our IT features to par with what we need as we continue discussing budgets and finance, just to make sure we're supporting each campus, as well as updates to our website, just kind of a general IT analysis.
Yeah, that's a good idea, in that we, I know Jason kind of handles it pretty good, and plus we have a requirement, we have to have, go through cybersecurity, every year as far as the board, and do it online and stuff, so we're at the, about all the restrictions and requirements and things, but, it's nice to know that, that we're not, and we don't want to identify any weaknesses in our security, because then,
Absolutely.
at least in a public forum, because then anybody listening out there could pick that up.
Absolutely.
So, but we need a good analysis to make sure that we're secure. So, because again, some school districts, and even in state Texas, have been hit by ransomware and those things, and it takes down your whole network. And some of the bigger districts, they may spend $2 to $3 million ransom to get all their data back and stuff. So and that's something that's not in your budget. So so we want to make sure that we're careful and make sure that we don't have some pop up and kind of, because when that happens, your whole district goes down and all that information is locked up and you can't get to it. So, but thank you. Anybody else have any discussion items or anything they want to add to the next board meeting? Again, if you come up with something, just pass it to Ms. Cook or Blaze, and they'll be more than happy to probably add it to the board meeting, so we can do that. Next is convening an executive session authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, concerning any and all proposed purposes permitted by the Act, Section 551.074, discussion of personnel, new hires, information, resignations, and ESTR-funded positions, and also Section 551.076, security devices. The time is now 8:02. I close this open session and we adjourn to closed session.